Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, where we are getting ready for El Clasico. This is a top of the table clash between Real Madrid and Barca, live from the Santiago Bernabeu on Sunday. And I think it's really interesting that even though we're very early in the season, it's still early days in the campaign, but for me, this is still a massive game early on here. It's got the potential to be decisive for either team. Both teams, in my opinion, have a real point to prove. Both of them need the win desperately, but the big question on all of our minds is, which team is going to get it? Which team is going to step up on this occasion? We are going to be discussing everything right here, so get yourselves ready and let's get to it. Now, today's video is coming to you courtesy of Golazo Jersey, who are now stocking the exclusive Barca Ed Sheeran Clasico jersey. That is available for you guys right now over on the website, and I think it is, a really exciting kit. It always is cool to see the Spotify collaborations, the exclusive jerseys that we get for the biggest games of the season. And if you actually would like to go over to Golazo Jersey, you'll see right there they've got all of the previous Spotify exclusives there for you as well. And remember, these are jerseys right now that aren't even available to buy any longer from the club, so you can snap these up, and of course at a much lower price as well. It's incredible quality over on the website there. They've got all the Barca jerseys that you could want, and I know so many of you have been really happy with your orders. Many people I know, once they actually made one order, they went back for more different kinds of jerseys, different types. There's everything there for you. Simply follow the link in the description down below, and I can guarantee you will not be disappointed. Because indeed, guys, I am bringing you today this Clasico preview a little bit earlier than I usually would, and the reason for that is because, one, I haven't really been able to do too much on the channel of late. Of course, I have been suffering with a bit of illness, still just, recovering from that, but what I am eager to do here is get this build-up underway. We got the earlier kickoff time as well on Sunday afternoon, and I just feel as though this is a massive game for Barca. I'm very excited about it on the one hand. I always enjoy Clásicos. These are the kinds of games that you want to be involved in. You want to play these matches here. It's a great game at the Bernabeu to go and face Real Madrid, but at the same time, I think for many of us Barca fans here, there's a little bit of skepticism, there's a bit of anxiety, there's a bit of caution here going into this game. We're always confident against Madrid. We always believe we can find a performance, and ultimately, that is what we'll need to do. We will need to find something, in my opinion, that we may not have seen so far this season, that we may not have seen from Barca up until this point. We might need to go deeper here, find something within to propel us to the win that we so desperately need. Because in terms of our opponents right here, Real Madrid, now it's interesting with them because on the face of it right here, they are top of the La Liga table, top there by 2 points at the summit. They've also got 3 out of 3 wins in the Champions League, a 100% record there. So on the face of it, if you were solely looking at stats, if you were solely looking at the results of the games, you'd say, well, it's been a perfect start for Xabi Alonso at Real Madrid. Everything is going so well. It must all be so smooth there at Real Madrid. But I do think some of these results and some of the performances we've seen so far this season, they don't really tell the full story. I think there have been a lot of close matches. Real Madrid have come through a few games, by a single goal. They've had their fair share of penalties as well. I think we can say along the way they've been up against teams as well who've received red cards, certainly of late. So I think Real Madrid, they've been involved in some scraps. It's not all been beautiful, perfect, total football from them. They've had to fight. They've had to really grind out quite a few games. And I would just look here, thinking about the Clasico, one of the biggest games of Madrid's season so far, one of the few games they've actually been properly tested in, it would have to be the Madrid derby. It would have to be the game there where you say, okay, Atleti were up for that game. They brought their A game. They gave Real Madrid different kinds of problems. And on that day, Real Madrid lost by 5 goals to 2. They weren't just beaten by Atleti, they were absolutely dominated in that fixture right there. So that is what I mean when I say this is a big game for Madrid too. They have to come into this, handle the pressure, handle things better than they did against Atleti, and Barca, they've got to try and find those weaknesses in the team there. I think particularly, if I'm looking at anything right now, it's the midfield of Real Madrid. That is the one area that I just think Alonso right now, he's still not really worked out what he wants from the Real Madrid Madrid midfield. He's not quite got the structure right. It's quite disjointed in there. A lot of people are trying to do multiple different roles. They can be caught out. They can be too offensive at times in midfield. So I think what Barca have to do here, they've got to hone in on that midfield battle. We've got players in there who can be the difference. We've got Pedri, we've got Frenkie de Jong. We've seen them absolutely dominate games from the centre of the park. We've got to make sure we win that midfield battle. We've got to go out there, and that will just help relax everything. If we can get control of this game, if we can constantly be winning those battles in the centre of the field, we can build from that. We can build upon that. And Real Madrid, definitely in the midfield, that is one of their weaknesses. But of course, there's no doubt in my mind, no doubt at all, that they will still be looking at us and saying, well, there's weaknesses there too. Real Madrid will be coming into this game understanding that, okay, you can get at Barca. There will be spaces. There will be opportunities. If we play our cards right, if we put the right passes, we will be able to release Kylian Mbappe. Now, Real Madrid this season have been even more reliant on Mbappe. They have been so heavily reliant there on his goals, and you've got to say, he is having a prolific season in front of goal. If you allow him time, if you allow him space, in and around the box, even just outside, he will punish you. There's no doubt about that there. So if we are allowing Real Madrid to generate chances for Mbappe, we could be in real trouble. And I think another player that you've certainly got to look at there, it's not just about Mbappe, it's about who's going to supply him. It's about players there who can pick that pass, who can have the great vision. And I think Arda Güler, he has really developed, in my opinion. It's a bit of a sore one, because obviously we were in the race to get him too. He elected, of course, in the end to go to Real Madrid. And he's developed, in my opinion, into such an impressive player. He has really started to put his stamp on this Real Madrid team. He's developed into such an important player for them as well. Now, they started to depend on him in terms of that creativity. So I think Güler and Mbappe, they are the players to watch, and they can be, make no mistake about it, the difference makers in this game. Because I think then, guys, when you're looking at it from Barca's point of view right now, I think over the past few games, over the past few weeks, if anything, there's been more and more questions about this team. We're not really getting answers right now. Mainly we're just getting a lot of different questions, about the way that we're playing, about the style, about the way we can apply this Hansi Flick style. And I think certainly it was a confidence booster in midweek against Olympiacos. There was a lot of great goals there. You've got to say that. There's some really impressive individual performances. Fermin Lopez getting a hat-trick. That is great for him. You've got Marcus Rashford, who's been really impressive, you've got to say, this season. Rashford has been absolutely outstanding since that loan move to Barca. He is making it look easy, to be honest, in the way that he's adapted and the way that he is now starting to gel with his teammates. But I think certainly before that Olympiacos game, Barca were conceding too many chances. And even against Olympiacos, they still had chances there. And one of the main criticisms you say of this team right now and of this Hansi Flick style is the pressing. Because what happens is, we've said it many times here, if you do not press, if you do not get your pressing right, the style suffers. That high line will get absolutely exposed. If there's no pressure on the ball, if you're allowing people time and time to pick the pass, to be able to just orchestrate their way through that back line, they will do it easily, because we're on the halfway line. Now, if against Madrid, we don't close the ball down, it's game over. It's as simple as that. And I think it's actually good here that Barca will know that, because if they cannot find the work ethic, if they cannot find the determination, the intensity in this game right here at the Bernabeu against Madrid in a Clasico, well, then you've got no chance. You're never going to find it. If you cannot find that burning desire to hunt the ball down and win it back here, you never will. So I don't think that hard work is going to be the problem here. I think we are going to see an improvement at Barca. I think we are going to see an upturn here in performance level. But the big question is going to be, even without now key players, is it going to be enough? Is the improvement going to be high enough? Are we going to be able to match Madrid and go beyond them to be able to come out on top in this game on Sunday? Because I would just look back here at the previous results we've seen, in the Clásicos. Looking at last season, we did play Real Madrid 4 times in total last campaign. And I think the pattern that you've noticed there emerging is that Barca, they got off the mark quickly. They hit Real Madrid. And Real Madrid didn't know what to expect from this Hansi Flick Barca team. We had a 4-0 victory, of course, at the Bernabeu. What a moment that was. We had a demolition job on them in the Super Cup. But what you will notice then, as we went on in the season, in my opinion, the game started to get closer. It certainly was a much, much tighter affair in those last two Clásicos of the season in April, in May. Admittedly, when Barca started to have a little bit of a decline maybe, when the energy levels weren't quite where they needed to be. And I think that's relevant, certainly when you're looking at how Barca have been right now. I think we do need to return to more of what we were seeing at the start of last season. The way that we were playing, the way that we were hunting down the ball, the energy that we had as a team. But I think we're all in agreement here. Can we find that? Is it possible now? And maybe our team's not as surprised by what we're bringing to these encounters. But it's safe to say, purely based on the head-to-head record, Barca, they should be confident. They can be confident here based upon what we did last season. Because of course, guys, it's needless to say that our preparation, it has been far from ideal, and this is nothing new to us. We have endured so far a season of injury setbacks, really, really key players being on the sideline, not being able to really play our strongest team at any given time. We really, really have been hard done by these injuries. Now, Rafinha, he was actually looking like a player who was going to be back. We've been without him. We've really missed him, especially there in terms of that pressing. He is somebody who can lead that press from all areas of that front line. He's not been there for us. Now, we expected him to maybe be back with the squad at the weekend here. He's been back in training. He was looking good. We were even thinking, okay, maybe in the second half against Real Madrid, you can bring Rafinha on. You can deploy him and really watch the team improve when he does come back in. That now looks highly unlikely to happen. What we heard this morning is he didn't even train. He didn't even start the training session before Barca have revealed there's something wrong there. Something has gone wrong in terms of the recovery. There's been some sort of setback. Now, right now, we haven't got it completely confirmed. There's been a relapse. Fabrizio Romano has said basically it's new discomfort. We're not exactly sure of what that's going to be. But I think what we can say is he's not going to be there on Sunday. He's probably not going to be there for several games after this one either. Rafinha remains on the sidelines, and that is another big blow, another really, really cruel blow ahead of this game. And we've had this week no Andreas Christensen in training, no Frank de Jong the past few days due to some stomach problems there as well. So those two have been kept away from the group. Only today are they back in there again. So Christensen and Frankie, they should be okay for the weekend. Luckily, they're going to make it in time for the Clasico. But again, in terms of preparation, in terms of getting players here right the way up to speed, it is far, far from ideal. And then you've got somebody like Jules Koundé. He's not been in training either. He's missed a number of days this week of those full training sessions because of discomfort. And so many different Barcelona players are struggling physically. So many are completely out altogether. And I think even somebody there like Koundé, it's been clear to see, in terms of the performances there, we've seen some really, really indifferent performances this season from Jules Koundé. He looks like somebody who's in need of a rest, who hasn't had enough rest, who just looks at times almost as though he doesn't have the effort. He doesn't have it in him right now to be playing at the kind of level that we expect. So Koundé, he might be back in. He probably will make it in time for the squad to face Real Madrid. But the bigger question will be, should he even start? Because of course, guys, the man leading this entire operation, well, he's probably not even going to be there at the weekend either. Hansi Flick is on track to miss the Clasico. He is set to be suspended after the red card that he received for 2 yellows against Girona, of course, during that controversial sending off. Now, the club have appealed it. They would love that to be overturned. They'd like to have Flick on the touchline against Madrid, but the belief right now is, and the way the club have been planning, is that Marcus Song, Flick's assistant, he will be taking charge on the touchline at the Bernabeu this weekend. So not only are we missing so many very, very important, integral first-team players, we are also missing our head coach on the touchline. But okay, aside from all of that then, how can we expect to line up at the Bernabeu? Because when we put together all of the reports that we've heard in the media, how players are feeling, who's available, who's not, I think in the end you are left with something like this against Real Madrid. I think it's very, very possible here that Eric Garcia does indeed get the nod at right back, simply because he's played so many games this season. Flick would like to have him somewhere in the team. Koundé has not been, altogether convincing. So that is very much a possibility. At centre-back, that's the big question. Who's going to partner Pau Cubarsí? Araujo, he's been up and down this season, hasn't he? He's another player who's been very, very inconsistent. You're not quite sure what you're going to get from him. I think the most concrete thing here Barca, it will be the midfield. You look at the way that Pedri has been playing, Frankie, you need those two at their best. And Fermin Lopez, after that hat-trick against Olympiacos, he very much picks himself right now. Lamine Yamal, thankfully he is fit, thankfully he is available. How much pressure is going to be on him on Sunday? We're going to be looking to him to deliver us the win in many ways, but the likes of Rashford and Ferran as well, they have to look to help out. Rashford has been very impressive. Would you rule him out scoring a goal? Could he be the man to strike against Real Madrid on Sunday? I think it's going to be a test. It's going to be a real test of this team. Can they find the level? Can they really, really step up? Because we're down to the bare bones. Real Madrid have injuries too. I'm not saying here that we're the only club who's gone through it, but it does feel as though right now we've been hit where it hurts most. We have been really, really hit hard with injuries in key areas, but we have to overcome that. And there's no time. There's just no time to make excuses. Because indeed, guys, looking right here at the all-important predictions ahead of El Clasico, looking right here at my community section, I would actually say this is so much more confident than I was actually expecting. I genuinely didn't think that we'd have, over 80% of Barca fans believing, yeah, okay, we've got this. We are going to beat Real Madrid. I like the confidence. I do. I like to see people going into this game thinking, yeah, Barca can do it. We've got to back our own team. We've got to believe that we can get the job done. Even if, many of us do acknowledge it's not going to be easy. And that, yeah, we will need to see an improvement from Barca. Now, in my opinion, this could genuinely be any scoreline. This could honestly be anything. There's going to be massive chances, I would say, for both teams. There's going to be chances galore. I would actually look at a scoreline, honestly, like 3-3. Could it be 3-3? Could it be 4-4 at the Bernabeu? It could be 5-2. Either way. Honestly, guys, I cannot call this game right now. I know there's going to be goals. I know there's going to be chances. I know that Barca, they're going to live on the edge. They're still going to have that high line. Real Madrid, they are going to find their way through. They are certainly going to have opportunities to score, but how many are we going to get? I do believe that we will get chances too. So that is what I think. Expect a high-scoring game. Expect it to be, a topsy-turvy one. It's going to be a turbulent 90 minutes here, but get yourselves ready. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be an adventure. And hopefully at the end of it all, Barca will emerge on the winning team. So please, guys, do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below here. How are you feeling sitting here right now, thinking about what's to come? What are the emotions like? What is running through your veins right now? Please let me know your predictions for the score, for the team as well. What team would you like to see Hansi Flick go for here? And please do not forget to check out the link down below. Head over to Golazo Jersey, and I am sure that you will find there some absolutely outstanding jerseys that you really enjoy, and for a fantastic price as well. So I will see you after the big game. What a weekend it's going to be. But thank you indeed, guys, for watching and for all of your patience here. But until next time, as always, Vejka, El Barça.